We're here with USC men's volleyball coach Bill Ferguson. First off, Coach, congratulations on the upset victory over third-ranked Pepperdine. First off, I'm going to have you break down the match, what worked, and what helps you guys snap that 5-game losing streak.
Well, the first thing is the serving, for sure. We had, I think it was one of our high night in the ace category, but for us, more importantly, we were really low on the miss, in the miss category on our service. We changed the lineup a little bit. We put in Austin Rizik at one of the outside positions, and we put Christian Rivera at the opposite position, and that seemed to give us, and that was precipitated by a couple things. On the way back from Hawaii, Tanner Jansen got really ill and had a stomach virus, and just really didn't have the physical get up and go that week with the previous week. And he was pretty banged up, so we rested him a little bit, and then Christian started playing opposite. He was kind of our backup opposite for the last month or so anyway. And Christian's actually ace to errors ratio is really good. He's about 1 ace for every 2 errors, which is what you really want. And so with him in the lineup and Micah on the lineup, you know, them serving on opposite sides of the service order, so to speak, we can really, we have our 2 best servers every couple rotations, and it gives us a little better ball control right now. Tanner's kind of getting back to health. He's been really banged up with his knees and his arm. So we've been going with Christian. It worked out great. Austin Rizik stepped up to the plate, got a couple aces. We've dialed him and Alex Slot back on going after it, and they're just mainly just try to serve into the game plan. They're getting better at that, and they actually got some aces out of that. So I think we, you know, kind of had the proverbial, you know, took 3, you know, a step backward to take 3 forward. So that was, I think, the key. And then we kind of ratcheted up our practice on blocking a little bit better. The serving in plus our better blocking also led to more defense, and that's where we had fallen off a lot during the 5 matches prior. We didn't do so well, as we were doing some things great, but blocking and digging were not one of them. So that all with Henry Cassidy coming back and getting more and more comfortable, and you know, I don't know if I didn't look at the numbers, if he had a ton of digs, but he had a bunch of really important digs that were, I think, affected our opponent quite a bit. So all those little things together, we're doing well. Josh Kirkner's gotten a lot more comfortable in a play-to-play moment, and Robert Feathers had a great match against Pep. So all those things really boded well for us.
Because of an event here at the Galen Center, you weren't able to play on your normal home court, so you played over in the Lion Center. What was it like for the guys to play over there? Was it more of an intimate environment for them? Yeah,
it was a little more of an intimate environment. You know, we also have another gym called the North Gym here at SC, and that's where we used to play way back in the day. The Lion Center was kind of like the Palace before we had the Galen Center. So for me, having had to coach in all 3 venues, it was a little bit kind of in the middle. Had some great matches there as a head coach and assistant coach. But the nice thing is it was over. Most of our matches were over spring break or towards the beginning of spring break. So with the lack of students on campus, it did help in the sense that it was a little bit more of an intimate environment, and we were able to practice over there for the last 2 weeks, so we were used to the venue. We obviously, you know, we're going to take the Galen Center anytime we can, but because of the Pac-12 TV scheduling and the addition of a team into the MPSF, normally we can schedule, when we host the Kids' Choice Awards, we can normally schedule closer to the front end of it and closer to the back end of it, and not really feel like we're, you know, like the Lakers Grammy tour, so to speak. So we were this year, because of those nuances in our scheduling, it was tougher, and so we had to spend a couple weeks in there practicing. You know, it was a good experience to play somewhere different, but the Galen Center is our home, and that's where we love to be.
Throughout the season, Robert Feathers has been the consistent go-to guy for you guys. What is it about him that makes him a remarkable player?
He's a tireless worker, and almost to the point of where he'll get himself down if he's not playing perfect. And he just has a really high standard for himself. He works hard every day. He's a fantastic teammate, and you know, his teammates trust the fact that he's going to give them everything he has every time he's on the court, whether he's having his best day or his worst day. He's had nights where where the opponent's sole defensive game plan is to shut him down, and he's done a good job of drawing the blocking defense towards him to open things up for other people, and he's learning how to do that. Last year he was a complementary role where most people were keying on Steve Shandrick in the middle, which allowed Robert to really flourish, and now he's learning how to be the guy that teams are game planning around, and it's been a process for him. It's a little bit different, but he's starting to do really well with it. He really had a good match, and I think turned it. He'd hit a little bit of a lull the last couple weeks, and then he definitely broke out of it against Pepperdine. He'd been working really hard in practice and kind of challenging himself to go beyond his comfort zone. I think it paid off greatly for him, and that's his makeup.
This week you have 2 matches. First up against Cal Baptist, and the second is this Saturday against number 1 BYU. Both are on the road. How do you plan to continue the momentum and not let the guys overlook Cal Baptist while thinking ahead to BYU?
Well, both teams are similar in the sense that they each have 2 outside hitters that serve the ball really well and are a big part of their team's offense. So in one sense, they're similar to plan against in the types of preparation you do during the week. Our team knows that there is very little time left in the season, and though the beginning of the season wasn't what we wanted, we can still finish how we want. And in the sense of we can still finish playing great volleyball, knock off as many teams as we can, get to double-digit victories, and have an outside shot at the playoffs. I don't even know if that's it's definitely doable. We need some help, but for us, it's a focus on everything day by day type of situation for us. So we really can't afford to overlook anybody, and so we have to look at Cal Baptist and Cal Baptist only until we play them on Thursday, and once we get to Friday, then we'll worry about BYU.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Fight on.